guys, I am Miss Christine. How are you today? I hope you had a really great day and you're doing just fine. And I hope you see me pretty decently because the weather, it's not the best. It's rainy and cloudy outside, but it's just a ordinary November day. But this atmosphere I think is the best one for the book I will talk today, and the movie I will put it in parallel because today I will discuss about Jane Eyre by Charlotte Brontë. Jane Eyre, one of my favorite novels of all time. I'm so excited to make this video because I love this book so much, and I can wait to compare it with the movie that came out in 2011. If you are a fan of this type of content, make sure you are subscribed to this channel to be notified every time I will post something new. By the way, this video will contain some spoilers, so here is your warning. Okay, that being said, let's just jump into today's video. First things first, I will talk a little about the book and then I will compare it with the movie, so in that way I can give you a little context. So Jane Eyre is a novel written by Charlotte Brontë and it first came out in 1847. Jane is our eponymous heroine and protagonist, and we will follow her life experiences throughout the entire book. This book presents her life in 5 major stages, and I will discuss a little about them. Firstly, we will see her life spent at Gateshead Hall. Here she was raised by her aunt that abused her emotionally and physically. So you see, Jane never had a easy life. She wasn't loved. She never felt that she belonged somewhere, and she was abused by her cruel aunt that she didn't love her at all. She only cared about her children. And after that, she will gain her education at Lowood Institution. So this school was made for orphan and poor girls, and they were treated very badly. They had poor meals, cold rooms and thin clothes, and most of them got sick and a part of them died living in that institution. But Jane survives. When she's turning 18, she will go and become a governess in Thornfield Hall, and here she will meet Mr. Rochester, who she will fall in love with. Besides the fact that she's in love with him, he is in love with her, they express their feelings for each other, and they almost got married. Jane has to leave Thornfield Hall because she will find out some cruel and terrible truths about Mr. Rochester, that he's married with a crazy woman, for example. So she's leaving Thornfield Hall with no money, no relationships, not at all, and she's starving and almost died on the streets till she made it to the Moore house, where she was rescued by Diana, Mary and their brother Saint John Rivers. Here she will find out that she had an uncle, John Eyre, that died, and he left his entire fortune of £20,000 to her. And when she finds this out, she will also find out that Diana, Mary and John Rivers are somehow her cousins, and because they treated her so great and generously and they took care of her when she got sick and ill and she was almost dying, she decides to share equally the money with them. John will ask her to marry him and to become his missionary wife and go with him in India, but she will refuse him because she's not in love with him. She's still in love with Mr. Rochester, and she will go back to Thornfield Hall to find him. When she will get there, she will only find blackened ruins. Later she will learn that the house was set on fire by that crazy wife of Mr. Rochester that I talked about earlier. She set the house on fire and then she jumped out of the roof and she died. Mr. Rochester, in attempting to rescue some servants and to rescue her, he lost a hand and his eyesight. After all these bad things that happened to our characters, the book gave us a happy ending when Jane and Mr. Rochester will reunite and they will get married and they will live happily ever after. So you see, Jane Eyre never had a great life. She was abused, she was poor, she felt that she was never loved by somebody, she never felt that she's belonging somewhere, and she has to go through these harsh experiences so she can succeed in life. And personally, I think that her character is admirable. She had principles and morals and she did not deviate from them, even though that meant to leave behind her beloved one and go in this big and cruel world with no money, no relationship, nothing at all. and she still succeeds, and she still remains a remarkable person, and I truly recommend you to read the book. It's so great. I think you will love it. It's amazing, and I will always recommend this book to everyone. Now let's compare a little the book with the movie that came out in 2011, directed by Cary Joji Fukunaga. So we have Mia Wasikowska as Jane Eyre, and I really hope that I pronounce her name correctly, because there are times when I messed up some names and I apologize for that. Mia did a really great job portraying Jane Eyre. The way she speaks and the way she acts is so mesmerizing, and playing along with another characters, I truly see how beautifully she portrayed Jane. In the book, Jane's character and personality develops a lot. Even though she was poor, abused, and basically an orphan, she has dignity, she has a great personality, she's honest, she's polite, and she contours a life based on principles and morals, and that's the main reason she left Thornfield Hall in the first place, and she had to leave behind Mr. Rochester because she didn't want to deviate from her principles at all. She was not afraid to express her feelings and express herself and her opinion about people and life, and this thing impressed Mr. Rochester a lot, and I think Mia did a very great job playing her character. Then we have Michael Fassbender as Mr. Rochester, and I think he was great. I think he portrayed his character very well. In the book we see Mr. Rochester like this arrogant man, and he's a little ill-tempered. I know when I was reading the book for the first time, when I met him and I was reading about him, I was like, what is wrong with this dude? But then reading more and more and getting along with this character and find out his backstory, I could understand why he was acting the way he was acting, because he had a hard and difficult life. Mia and Michael together, I think they had a great chemistry. I really loved the scene when Mr. Rochester proposed to Jane for the first time. I think they captured the scene pretty decently, and I love that. It was a little emotional, and I love to see the way Mr. Rochester expressed his feelings for Jane. I think it was very cute, and I really love them together. But you will see a lot of great scenes with them together in this movie, like the scene when they very first met in the woods, and the scene when Jane saved his life when his room was set on fire, and many more like this. Then we have Judi Dench as Mrs. Fairfax. Judi Dench is literally in every movie, and I don't mind that. I think she's a great actress. I know that I said in Pride and Prejudice, when I talk about the book and I put it together with the movie, I will put a card up above here somewhere, so you'll be redirected to that video also if you haven't seen it. I know that I said that she was playing in that movie a character you will hate, but here she's a character I think you will like. She's kind and warm, and I love the way she was talking with Jane. Mrs. Fairfax was the very first person Jane will met at Thornfield Hall, and Jane, when first met her, she thought that she was the owner of the mansion, but she was just the housekeeper, and I love to see them together. I love the way she played, and I love how cute and kind she was. Then we have Sally Hawkins playing Mrs. Reed, and I think she was okay. She didn't appear too much in this movie. She had some screen time at the beginning of the movie, but then we won't see her too much. Mrs. Reed was the cruel aunt of Jane. She didn't love her at all, she didn't care about her at all, she only cared about her children, and she likes to give justice to her children, and she never scolded them when they abused Jane, and her son was just a little piece of... Calm down, Christine, they are only characters, okay? Her son was a little piece of... Then we have Jamie Bell as St. John Rivers. St. John Rivers, along with his sister Diana and Mary, were the ones who rescued Jane when she was almost dying. He was okay-ish. He wasn't my favorite character personally. I didn't feel like he did a amazing job or a great job. He was okay, he was his character, but he just didn't blow my mind away, and he was, you know, kind of basic. As I said, he was okay. His character was cold, reserved, and he was very devoted to his missionary duty. Then we have Valentina Cervi as Bertha Mason, and she was so creepy and spooky, guys, and she really came out of a horror movie. Bertha was the crazy ex-wife of Mr. Rochester, and Valentina just slayed her character. She played the part, she looked the part, she was acting like a crazy woman. She was like creeping around, and she really gave me chills, and I think you will like her, even though she doesn't appear too much in the movie, but when she appears, she's great. I think she was very, very spooky. I won't talk about every character of this book and every actor that played the part because I don't want to make this video too long. But before I finish this video, I want to talk a little about the cinematic aspects because I think they were extraordinary. So the way this movie was filmed was stunning. The movie always had this pale light to it, like it was filmed some decades ago. So in the daytime the movie has these colors, faded and plain ones. It always seems like it was always cloudy, and it always has this mysterious vibe to it, but in the night time, dude, the movie was so obscured, it was so dark, it really gives you chills. And the very first time I saw the trailer, I was like, I'm gonna watch a movie based on a period drama, or I'm gonna watch a horror movie, because that was the way the trailer looked like. I love the atmosphere of this movie. It always seems like something was gonna happen, and I assure you, you will not get bored to this movie, not at all. You will demand to see more and learn more about the story and about the characters, and most likely you will demand to see more about Jane, and you will get a lot of things about Jane, because we will see her in the childhood period, and then we see her when she's like 18, 19 years old, and again we will follow her throughout the movie and throughout the story, going in different places, and we will see her through all these extreme situations. So you will always see these shades of brown and blue in this movie, and I think the visual part of the movie is correlating so well with the way the characters felt inside and their trembling backstories, and I think that was amazing. It was amazingly filmed, and the story was spelled so well, and I really love that movie. I truly recommend you to see it. So tell me in the comment section if you read the book or seen the movie or both. Don't forget to check out my Romanian channel and my social medias. They're all linked down below if you want to see me more. And till the next time we will see each other with another book versus movie kind of clip. God bless you all.